Well, we talked about this the other day, but now it's even clearer. Watch this. So extraordinary, this is going to blow your mind, and I'm going to repeat it so that nobody can miss it. The Bible sure looks like, and I alluded earlier, that Christ comes on a Sabbath. I mean, a regular Sabbath. I mean, it just never crossed my mind it was a regular Sabbath. It was also the last great day. Enough, if you believe God at all, even a little bit, you know that Christ is coming on the last great day. Because there is no way in this life that the kingdom of God does not come in the fall, in the last season, on the last day. There are false prophets who lead splinters today. They are utterly demon-inspired. They are not of God. And here's how you can know it. And the sign or the wonder not come to pass. No. Now look, if it not come to pass, there isn't any doubt. You wouldn't have to say it doesn't come to pass. Anybody with a room temperature IQ says this guy can't be sent from God. You wouldn't have to warn people to not follow those who give out signs and wonders that fail. Everybody say, hey, you can't be a representative of God. Now, there are people, I understand, there are people foolish enough to follow false prophets whose signs fail. They're in a different category, and I mean, those are just unreachable people. Anybody with a room temperature IQ says this guy can't be sent from God. Anybody with a room temperature IQ says this guy can't be sent from God. Anybody with a room temperature IQ says this guy can't be sent from God. Boy, oh boy, am I being mocked. Unbelievable. It means sneer, to deride, to scoff, speaking great swelling words of vanity. Believe me, they are flowing now. Boy, if you're feeling discouraged, don't. Maybe there were more things we needed to understand. In the beginning of Haggai, and here's what we missed, it solves many, many problems that we just never understood. I'm here to say on the authority of God, that is what it means. There will be a voice from heaven as surely as get you. And I want to show you something else that we missed. But I never studied the Hebrew and the Greek more in my life or ever came close. And I've studied prophecy. I am certain, more than any man who has ever lived. The last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, Haggai got this prophecy. We believe that God will show us through His Spirit. You can understand it now. You don't need to wait till then to know it. That's one of the curious things about the dates in this prophecy. Zechariah didn't understand till the 4th year and 9th month of the reign of Darius, Zechariah 11. We understand it now. We don't have to wait, if we're using literal years, till the end of 2015 around Thanksgiving for following the dates of Elul to understand it. Literal years till the end of 2015 around Thanksgiving for following the dates of Elul to understand it. I'm going to be going into Jerusalem, but I'm going to be going into a lot of other Western capitals and saying some fairly serious things with two guys on either side of me. Now, what about Mr. Armstrong, my father in the gospel? First, let me just say, it's pretty obvious. I might as well just start from the beginning with a statement, and then we're going to talk about it. He is coming back. As a matter of fact, if you had doubts about anybody, he'd be the only one you wouldn't have doubts about. But the Bible is most specific. He is coming back, and he will be back for the great work, not just when God sets up his... Except for the kooks who think God is going to resurrect both the Armstrong. People actually believe that. He is coming back. As a matter of fact, if you had doubts about anybody, he'd be the only one you wouldn't have doubts. Except for the kooks who think God is going to resurrect both the Armstrong. People actually believe that. Yet Christ didn't walk around through the camp. How are you? You haven't? Good morning. Well, good morning, Christ. How are you? Where are you? I'm going to get breakfast. It's not going to be that kind of among us. Christ will dwell among us. He'll be with us. I'll prove that to you. That I know I speak on his authority. Frankly, I can show you in crystal clear fashion, this is where I wish I had more time, that Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Peter, Paul, James, Jude, Jesus, and even John the Baptist spoke explicitly of this prophecy. I'm 100% sure. I know exactly, jot and tittle, exactly how God is going to do this. He said things in such explicit detail. I've taken it by half a dozen ministers, and none of them can see even the slightest chink in the description. I know the order of events. I know exactly what happens, when, to whom, and why. All of the how God is going to do this. When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that's the thing which the Lord has not spoken, but the prophet has spoken it presumptuously, you shall not be afraid of him. And other places say, he dies. That doesn't seem to make some people afraid. Some people will still go out and prophesy. They'll say things that don't come to pass. They're false, and they get the death penalty, because any true prophet knows he never speaks on his own. God works through apostles, and he teaches his truth through apostles. So I got this from God. I didn't come up with this. When I am sent, Malachi 4, 5, and 6 specifically referred to as Elijah the prophet. I have to say some things. I know I'm an apostle, but I'm just saying I'm going to have to say some things. I'm going to have to deal with some false prophets. And it's going to end badly for some of them, ultimately all of them. One will, of course, become the foolish shepherd. Confusing the way I say that. Then Mr. Armstrong had it wrong. I don't see how he could have. I have not moved off of that. I won't move off of that. Do you understand? That presents a question, and it presents a problem. We don't know the day or the hour. We don't know the particular year. We know that 6,000 years will get cut short. The 6,000 years appears to end in 2020, so to be cut short 1 year, the very latest we could hear, the 1335, is about 5 years out, a hair less. It would be February 3rd, 2016. Brethren, and I know God is giving me amazing understanding, but I want you to see something, and it's mind-blowing. The implications of what I'm going to show you now they're so expansive. So, again, we have learned in this extraordinary series from God, who is guiding. I'm not guiding us.